Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cherryheartkisses. You can call me Diamond, which is my real name. I want to apologize real quickly for you guys out there that don't know. I recently had a baby. My son, Alucard James, aka AJ, was born January 6th. 2021. I am currently holding him, for those of y'all that don't know, and I am doing a video podcast sit down. I don't know what to call it, but I haven't been able to put out videos because I've been one so consumed with the pandemic, and then of course I had to forcefully quit my job. So I've been trying to get programs together so I can hopefully not lose my apartment, and then two, like actually be able to buy groceries and all that stuff. So if you're wondering why I've been gone, that, and then of course I became a mom. So I've been wanting to put out my what you would call my birth story, my birth experience, what happened during my labor and delivery. And I haven't been able to do that because one, I am a perfectionist, and two, I don't know what to do with YouTube anymore, and I don't know what to do with myself because I've been hiding myself for so goddamn long that I don't know who I am anymore. And so if y'all hear little squawks and squeaks, that is my son. So say hi, honey. Hopefully y'all heard that. But I'm holding him because I've been trying to put him for a nap since today, and he just hasn't been having it. So this will just be a me sit down with my son talking into a mic and just trying to, relax and have an honest conversation of what's been going on with me and where I've been. So, first things first, yes, like I said, I just became a mom, and my son, he was born at 8 pounds, 12 ounces. He was 20 inches long, and trying to remember what else. And he was born at 8:30 in the morning, January 6th, 2021. First things first, you know, I mean, biggest thing out of the way is that, me being a mom, how is it? How am I doing? How's it going? It's been pretty. I'll just say, like, I have my good days and I have my bad days. Like how my son has his good days, and excuse me, Mr. Race Car, can you not? Okay. So, as, sorry, as my son has his good days, he has his bad days. And so some days he can nap like a champ, he can eat and feed amazingly. And, some days I have really good days with him and some days I don't. But, the one of the challenging things that's been with him lately is, his feeding and his weight gain. I believe he did gain his weight back, his birth weight back. Took about a good month, because he's a month now, for him to gain his birth weight back. But it's been challenging because, one of the things that is hard for first new moms, especially if you're a mom like me that's breastfeeding, is okay, is my baby getting enough? Is he sucking enough? Like, is he, like, does he have a good latch, or like what's going on? And so that, and then of course, like, oh, he's spitting up, is it acid reflex? Oh my god, like, how do I know what's this that? And then majority of the things that I get from a lot of medical professionals told to me is, well, as long as he's making his pee diapers, and as long as he's making his poo diapers, as long as he's making a dirty diaper, then everything should be fine. And as much as I want to take that, with such deep heartfelt sincerity, like, first time mommy business, you worry, you stress out, you don't get sleep, you don't remember to eat or drink anything. So I have to remind myself, hey, Diamond, remember to drink water so that way you have, good hydration for your son. And then of course, you're able to feed him, and then of course keep yourself hydrated as well. So that's what's been going on with me lately as far as first time mommy deals and my current worries and stresses. And then the other thing that's been going on with me is that I recently had to cut out my mom from my circle. And some people, out there might think I am stupid, retarded, idiot, or just not know what to put into words for me cutting off my mom. But a little backstory. Um, Before, when I was in my first trimester, I was going back and forth with my sister. And she was seeing somebody that me and my family did not approve of, and we were kind of nervous and worried for her because, you know, it, we just didn't, like, we didn't have a good feeling about, the person that she's involved with. And not to put anybody's business or my business out there, but we were just worried for her. And this person not only started to just take things from just it being like between them two, like it started to get into our family. And so evidently what's brought into it and is what's come out of it is that now our families are kind of separated and broken up more than what they were before. And I not only just had to cut my sister out of my life, for my son's safety, I had to cut my mom out of my life. Because for those of y'all that don't know, I come from a broken home, and I come from a dark past where people took advantage of me, people hurt me left and right. I was made to feel like the bad kid for most of my life. When I wasn't the bad kid, I was just going through some hard stresses, and I didn't know how to react, nor did I know what to make sense of it. So obviously I was struggling, and I felt like the bad guy ever since I was a child. And the most sad thing about my childhood is that my sister got to get away with a bunch of stuff. And of course, if I did what she did, or if I reacted the way she would react to what I did, or in my experience, I'd get punished. But yet other people were allowed to get away with shit, not just my sister, but other people in society. And so I would, in return from me feeling like I can't talk, I can't speak, I can't react, I can't even be myself, I started hiding myself. And in hiding myself, it's bleeding to other things in my life. Like, for instance, YouTube. I can't do YouTube without having a panic attack. I can't talk about my mental health at work without somebody, using it as a fucking weapon against me. And then somebody, being like, well, if you're having all those issues, then how come you just don't work, or how come you don't get help? Like, honestly, it's not that easy. And then for people like me having a mental disorder or several mental illnesses, we want help most of the time, but can we get the help? No. And can we get it consistently? No. Consistently, nice word. Consistently, no, we can't. And so half the time, for a person like me suffering with, yes, baby, validate me, yes. So for a person like me that has bipolar disorder, OCD, ADHD, and anxiety, I have to essentially reach out to the crisis line whenever I'm having a mental breakdown. And even then, like, that helps me in that moment. That makes me feel validated in that moment. But what if I, feel kind of mild symptoms? What if I want to speak to somebody? And what if I want to feel validated in my emotions? I want to see my therapist. I need medical insurance. I need money to see them. But even then, like, to see them consistently, I have to be declared or be diagnosed as disabled in order to get my benefits from Social Security like I used to when I was small, in order for me to have consistent help, or for me to be, or I have to be working in order for me to be having any kind of medical help in that regard. But in my mental illness, my anxiety has reached new heights, and my mental illness, I can't cope anymore, and it's hard. And as much as I want to say I can do this and all that, my husband has taught me to realize, playing into the idea that everything's okay, that you can do it, you can push everything aside when you're not okay and when you can't handle it and when it's too much for you. And so essentially, that's what's been going on with me. It's only been a month since I've had my son. And of course, I had to forcefully quit my job because I was having pregnancy complications and I wasn't healing from an injury because, hello, pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is going through your body, and so your ligaments are loose, your muscles are loose, you're more prone to get injured, you're more prone for accidents. So I eventually just had to let go of my job because, I wasn't able to return back to work and they wanted me to. And I was gonna have the baby soon anyway, so I had to let it go. And the biggest stressor in my life is, trying to get over my mental illness, trying to get over my symptoms, just so that way I can work or just get through this postpartum as fast as I can, heal as fast as I can in order for me to go back to work when I can't work. And this is the saddest thing I want to say about being pregnant, being a mom, having a medical condition, or having just anything wrong with you that inhibits you from doing your daily routine or doing anything or just being a part of society, is that you can't go back to normalcy. You can't do things that you used to do because you have shit that you need to take care of first. Like with me, I need to heal. I need to get used to being a mom. I need to take care of my mental health. I need to eat. I need to drink. I need to sleep. And it's a lot. And then from on top of that, like I said, I had to take my mom out of my life. I had to, stop talking to her because I didn't want her to tell my sister, what was going on with my son and anything about my son. And she didn't listen because, like my mom has always done to me, is that she thinks that, oh, just like everybody else, like, oh, I don't know any better. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's whatever. It's whatever is best. Oh, I'm pretty sure y'all heard him make a dump. We'll take care of that in a bit, sweetheart. Okay. But as much as everybody, well, as my mom would do, like, and everybody else, she would make me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about or that I didn't know what was in my best interest. So she just made decisions for me or, made shit happen because, I didn't know what I was talking about and she knew better. And I know most likely my mom's gonna be hearing this and all that, and she's gonna take shit to a whole nother new low and be like, well, I guess blah 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 blah, and I blah 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 this. And the thing about it is that most people don't know is that in growing up in a broken home, with my dad I had the verbal abuse, and with my mom I had the mental abuse. And like I've said it in front of my parents till they were black and blue in the face, I'd rather have my dad call me a bitch and all that because those are just words. Those are just curse words. I can dust that off and like, okay, whatever. But with my mom, it was the mental abuse. It was the guilt tripping. It was, well, I guess I'm just blah, 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 blah. And, oh, well, this. And the thing with my mom is that, I was struggling with because I didn't want to cut her out of my life because she's my mom. She gave birth to me. She gave me life. And I know this is hard on most people as well, that, when they have to cut somebody out of their life, or especially a family member for that matter, it's a hard decision because it's like, they knew me first. They've been in my life for so long. How can I do that? Like, it's not just, a regular friend that stabbed you in the back and now you have to cut them out of your life. This is something deeper in that. And it sucks. It sucks and it hurts. And, I was posting about my son, on Facebook, on, my personal social media with my families and friends, because I had said I wasn't going to post pictures or videos of my son. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I didn't want family members nor friends to say, oh, we're not going to share anything to your sister or tell anything to your sister about your son. And then they go on and share pictures and photos and information about my son that they didn't need to, like what had been happening throughout my pregnancy. Hey guys, I am coming back a few days later. I meant to finish up what I was going to finish, but I had to attend to my son. And of course, it's been a couple of days, and I've just been trying to ride out the boat that is my emotions, as most people do, trying to get a handle on things. But finish up what I was talking about and to summarize it all. I wasn't posting any pictures about my son. I was only just putting updates about how is he doing and what's going on with him. And I wasn't expecting, for the rules and the boundaries that I had set early on before he was born to be crossed. I should have expected that, but these things you don't know and you live and learn with life. But I still am holding my son. He's falling asleep, and I'll try my best to be as peaceful and not as loud. But hopefully, y'all can still hear me and it's not much of a bother. But, so an update as of, what's been going on and what had happened from the last time I talked with y'all, and then of course until now. So about the weekend, I had to take my son to the hospital because I was trying ever since I think it was like Thursday or Friday to get him seen, but nobody could see him because he has baby acne, and I thought it was turning into hives, and I was worried it was, and so I was trying to get in for him to see his doctor. They were too booked to take walk-ins, and then I tried to take him to an urgent care, and they couldn't see him because they didn't have a pediatric doctor. Oh, great. And then I tried to take him to a different pediatric doctor's office, and they were booked too. And so I tried to shake it off, but I wanted to make sure he was okay. So the next day I went to the hospital, and it turns out it was baby acne, and it's slowly going away, thankfully. Um, and the other thing that had happened too was that when I had took him to the hospital, they said his weight, they said it in kilos, so it was 3.7 kilos, and if you know how to do the math for that, you do 3.7, whatever the weight is, the kilos was 3.7 kilos times 2.2 in order to get that weight in pounds. And so I did that, and his weight ended up being 8 pounds 14 ounces. I was like, oh, thank God, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, because I've been having such a struggle with his doctor for him to gain his birth weight back, and it seemed at that point that he did, because I mean his birth weight was 8 pounds 12 ounces. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to be doing this whole supplementing thing, hopefully. Like, thank the Lord Jesus, thank God. But when I took him today, he was 8 pounds 5 ounces. I was like, okay, well, at least he's still 8 pounds. I'm still good with that. But I knew his doctor was gonna say something, and sure enough, she did. And so I had to go take him to the hospital again to go get blood work done. And, the nurses were commenting on how he looks, and they said that he looks fine, that he looks healthy, and that from what I had told them, they said that he sounds like he's gaining weight and he sounds like he's okay. And I just don't know what to do anymore. So I'm just trying my best, for one, to stay sane for me, my husband, and the baby, and of course for myself. But I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to get myself in the right mindset. I think for the most part, I am, still gonna keep my insurance that I am getting um, with the assistance programs that I applied to. So thank goodness, because one of the hardest things, like I've mentioned on this, podcasty thingy, video, audio, it's audio show, whatever, is that it's hard for people like us with mental health to keep ourselves okay, and to make sure that we are, you know, healing, taking care of ourselves, getting better. It's very hard, you know, for one to have medical care, and then for two to just maintain that level of self-care, because like one of the things that I struggle with the bipolar disorder is that I lose interest in things. And for those people that don't know, bipolar disorder, it has the manic episode and the depressive episode. So I do have depression, but that's with the manic. So it's the what people used to call it before was manic depression. So you have the manic and the depression, the manic and the depressive episode. Um, but it's just a thing, and I'm trying my best to just remain okay and take as many deep breaths as I can. And if I need a moment to just cry my eyes out, then I take that moment to just cry my eyes out. Thankfully my husband, he does try his best. I understand his level of frustration. I understand my level of frustration too. So I try not to, be mean or ugly to him, because he doesn't deserve that. He's a dad, a new dad. He's trying his best. But, the biggest thing, it's just like, breastfeeding's hard, because, for people out there that don't really know much about breastfeeding, you just think, oh, it's easy. You put the baby to the boob and the baby eats. No, like it's a lot more complicated, and it's a lot more you know intense and complex as it is. The best way I can explain it is, I mean, like, well, when you're when you're feeding your child, you have to make sure, for one, they have a good latch. And how you make sure they have a good latch is you check how their their lips are. If they're kind of perched out like a fish, then that's awesome. If not, then you gotta fix, the way their lips are in order for them to have a better latch. And then, of course, sometimes you have to just take out your nipple and just re-put your nipple to the baby's mouth and make sure that they get a good amount of your boob. And then the other thing too is that you have to make sure you're drinking water. You have to make sure you're eating, because your body makes that milk for the baby, and it has to be you have to make sure you're getting good nutrition so the baby gets good nutrition. And then the other thing about that too is that with what I've been going through lately is just him with the weight gain issue. And it's just like, okay, it's either my milk, he's not getting enough of it, which I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because when I feed him, he's not satisfied most of the time. And then, of course, the other thing too is that I feel like he does have acid reflux. And I feel like majority of what he's burping up or puking up, because sometimes I feel like he is puking up some of whatever it is. I feel like that alone, it's not staying in his body, whatever it is I'm feeding him. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. If I manage to even put this out, I will be so proud of myself. And if I manage to keep this up, then I will be even more stoked and proud of myself, because I'll tell you what, one of the biggest things that I've struggled with for so many years is sticking to something and the consistency, staying consistent. Because, one of the things that I do too much is I overthink things, but not I'm not talking about like I'm thinking, I'm like I'm not talking about like I'm, taking something out of proportion. It's more me like thinking something to death and obsessing over it to death. And that's one of the things that comes with having OCD is it's not just the behavior and all that. It's, the mindset, the thinking, the analyzing, and I'm always overthinking and just thinking shit to death. And so it's like it's not enough for me to just have a creative idea. I come up with so many creative ideas and I get so many good, you know, creative, intuitive things that I'm like, hell yeah, like that's awesome, let's do it. And then I'll obsess over it in my brain to the point where I'm too mentally tired and exhausted from thinking about it. I just don't want to do it anymore. And then I end up not doing it because I've overthink that damn activity or idea to death to where I just don't do it. And also the thing about it is with me too is that, I honestly, with being a person, a girl that has been through a lot, and that comes from, a family that, just isn't the, picture perfect family you've wished and dreamed for. You tend to take on a lot and you tend to not move the way other people do. And as much as I've, had, you know, for most of what I can say, support, like, hey, you can do it. Don't let it be a dream. You can do it. Like I did have my parents, their I did have their support. Um, but for me, majority of it was like, oh, I have their support, but but I need to work. You know, it's not enough for me to just be, you know, mentally not okay, and for me to, be taking care of myself. Like, I have to be physically and actively proving that, hey, I can work. I can do this. I can do that. See, I'm mentally okay. Like, look at me do this cool thing. See, I'm alright. Like, I can earn a paycheck. And it's so hard to be working in, you know, for a job, a quote unquote job, like, you know, whatever you can think of, call it out now, think of it in your head. Like, a quote unquote job, be interacting in society. The hardest thing about having those jobs is that, you know, they say on those papers that they don't discriminate against, people with disabilities, but they still, and I'm sorry, but they do. And it sucks because the worst thing for anybody with a mental disorder or with a mental or with a medical condition, let me put it that way, is that for somebody to use that as a weapon against you. Well, if you have this and this, then why are you working? Well, if you have this and this and this, then why isn't somebody taking care of you? Or don't you get disability? Or like, one of the things that I've always hated for people to say was that my bipolar makes me crazy or it's all in my head. And I'm like, okay, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, no shit. And third of all, how can you make an insensitive comment like that when, you know, I beat myself up so much on a daily basis. The one thing that I had to realize with my mental disorders last year was that technically I'm not on my time. I'm on my mental illness's time. So, as much as I want to force myself to get over it, as much as I want to get through this depression and be on a happy mental high, or just like relax for a hot second, or not have to feel a panic attack, as much as I want to force myself to get through it and to get over it, I'm not on my time. I'm on my illness's time. I never know when I'm going to have a panic attack. I never know when I'm going to have an intense OCD episode where I just can't, pick a path, or just not put on clothes because everything bothers me. Or I don't know when I'm going to get an irritable episode where I'm going to be agitated to hell, and that's going to cause me to have a psychological breakdown. These things we don't know, which, I mean, that's why medication's out there, because we don't have the ability to, regulate it, because our body just runs on whatever it runs on. But I know medication does help. But with me, it's like, in my opinion, I like to talk about my issues. I love to talk. And the thing about it is that, what made me not want to talk in the beginning was that, I didn't know how to express what was going on. And then also, it's like people would tell me that I was a freak, I was a monster, and that, oh wow, look, she's getting angry. And then people would purposely make me mad and purposely piss me off, annoy me, just so that way they can see a bipolar person or somebody with a mental illness in action. And I think that's the most disgusting thing anybody can do, and that's the most revolting thing. And one of the worst things you can ever tell a partner or somebody that you're with is that their mental illness makes them crazy, or it makes them, undateable or whatever. Like, that's something you do not tell somebody, because we take on a lot. We don't know when to stop, and we don't know, even when we're not okay, we don't know if we can handle everything that we can handle. And so when we are trying to be our best allies and we're saying, you know what, I don't think I can do it today, I'm going to be the bigger person and say, not today, I'm going to take a break. And then we get, even then we get, you know, eaten up just for taking a break, or just for saying we've had enough. I don't understand people, and I imagine other people don't understand other people or why they do that. But, I'm just me. I'm just doing whatever I think is best, and I'm just trying to live. Even if it means that, I, can't handle most days, or if I just need a good cry in the shower, or if I just really need to write out my feelings. That's like one of the best things ever, by the way, is that if you're someone like me that tends to keep things bottled up inside until you just explode, or there's just no way for you to get it out of your system, what's going on with you, you know, communicatively, verbally, then write it down. You know, express yourself, whether if it's through a poem, through song, through a drawing, or a walk, or get it out in a, in an exercise or whatever. Do whatever it is that you need to do in order for you to get those feelings out, because those feelings, they are important, they are valid, they are respected, and they're respected in my eyes, and I imagine in other people's eyes. I've been trying my best to, try to be the strong and resilient person that everybody sees me as, but even then, I've been strong for way too long. I've been resilient for way too long. A person can only take so much until they break, just like how a rubber band can stretch for so long until it finally busts. That's just a thing that happens, and I hope anybody out there that's listening to this, that's managed to sit through this and just, you know, on your drive to work or whatever, I hope that you take whatever I'm saying with a peace and you just feel lighter, because I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to know, I know what it's like to feel like you can't speak. I know what it's like to, feel like you can't do anything because some and other people can. I want y'all to know that I'm here for y'all. Whether if I didn't go through what y'all went through as kids or as adults or as teens, I want y'all to know that I hear y'all and I see y'all, and I want y'all to feel like y'all are invincible, that y'all can do anything. But you gotta be your best friend first. You gotta be your biggest cheerleader and your biggest advocate, because at the end of the day, all you have is yourself. You got to sit with yourself, wake up with yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, and do all the things that you got to do. But what makes you happy is something that you should always do. Whatever you're doing that makes you light up with sparkles and diamonds, do it. So, with that being said, my son is actually asleep and he looks so peaceful. I can tell you this much. I did not think that I would be able to have him. I did have a miscarriage before him, and I got pregnant with him a year and a month after the anniversary of my miscarriage. And I still can't believe that he's here. He is so precious. I didn't think I'd ever have kids, nor did I think I could have kids. And so, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this audio podcast thingy, please give it a like, subscribe if you would like more, and comment down below what was your favorite part. Or even if you can't comment down below and you're on your way to work and you're just getting ready for the day, or you're getting that nice outfit and you're putting that last bit of makeup on, let me know what were your feelings. Or even just, take the day in and just relax and do something special for yourself, because you matter just as much as everybody else does. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all guys next time.